Hey, sweet friends. Welcome back to the Business of Inner Peace. I'm Erin Jean, and today I am so excited to share something special with you that could truly transform your life in 2025.
Welcome to the Business of Inner Peace. I'm your host, Erin Jean, and I'm so glad you're here. Let's pretend we're sitting in my living room enjoying a cup of coffee or tea and getting to know each other just a little better. That's what I love. I love getting to hear your story. I love feeling connected by the spirit of understanding that our stories bring. Today, I'm sharing some of my story, but I hope someday soon you'll be telling me yours. Listen, I know that you're feeling overwhelmed with life and nothing is exactly how you'd like it to be. Your marriage is not what you hoped for. Motherhood is harder than you imagined, and you've lost yourself somewhere in the mix of responsibilities. Well, if you're ready to bring some more peace and joy into your life, reconnect with God who made you, and start living a life you love, then grab your cup of coffee or tea and let's dive into today's show.
You know, as a relationship coach and a mom of three, I've learned that the most important relationship we have is the one we have with ourselves. And of course, the one we have with God. And that's exactly what we focus on in my group called the Dreamcatcher Collective. But before we dive into all of that, I want to share a personal story with you about the power of dreaming big and making those dreams a reality. In May, I went to this amazing conference with my sister, and it was called Dream Builder Live. And I had a profound experience there. In fact, it's probably one of the best weekend workshops I've ever been to. And it really impacted me. And I began dreaming even bigger than I've ever dreamed before. And I got really clear on the process of creating a life that you love. And I began to study under my mentor, Mary Morrissey, and really just glean the wisdom that she's gained in her life. And it's been huge. So, one of the very first things that I set about dreaming up was this epic surf trip that I wanted to take my son on for his 18th birthday. And it was really the first thing that had quite a timestamp on it because my son was turning 18 in December. So, like I mentioned, I started this whole process back in May, and I wrote out a very clear vision of what I wanted to do for his 18th birthday. And what I wanted to do was to take my son on an epic surf trip for his 18th birthday. And I asked him at some point, hey, if you were going to go on a surf trip, where would you want to go? And he said, oh, I would want to go to Indonesia. So I put that into my vision that I was taking him on an epic surf trip to Indonesia. And actually, my vision was written as if it had already happened. So I actually wrote down that I was so happy and grateful that I got to take my son on an epic surf trip to Indonesia for his 18th birthday. Now, I didn't just write this out once, I actually said it out loud or listened to it on a recording daily. I was really focused on it. And I didn't just stop there, I actually shared it with other people in my life, letting them know that I was taking my son on an epic surf trip for his 18th birthday to Indonesia. Now, obviously, I didn't have any plan in place. I just kept saying it. So as the months ticked by and we got closer and closer to December, I knew inside that I needed to start taking some sort of an action. So I believe it was about October, I decided to let my husband know what I wanted to do for my son's 18th birthday. And of course, he was not on board. he had a lot of reasons why that was ridiculous and we shouldn't do that. And it was going to be too expensive and it was going to be too difficult. And I didn't let his energy around that stop me. I just kept thinking in my mind, we're doing this, we're doing this. And so I kept bringing it back up and bringing it back up every now and then with my husband. So by the time November rolled around, my husband was finally on board. And I realized, okay, if we're really going to make this happen in December, I'm actually going to have to get my son off of work. So I got his boss's number and then I reached out to his boss and told him what my plan was and asked him to keep it a secret. Now, of course, the boss was not immediately, okay, sure, no problem. He gave me a lot of pushback and told me, like, this is ridiculous. This is way too much time for an employee to be taking off. Because if we're going to travel all the way to Indonesia, I knew we needed at least 2 weeks over there. And my son's birthday is in December. So, of course, it's by the holidays. And I knew we would need time off for the holidays as well. So, I was basically asking for 3 weeks off of work. And his boss was like, that's more time than a normal employee would get off in a year. Right. But I didn't let that discourage me. I just continued having the conversation with him. And eventually, he landed in this place that he decided he really enjoys my son and loves him working there. And he was willing to give him the time off. So, slowly but surely, all these little chips were falling into place. And never once did I waver on believing that we were taking our son on an epic surf trip for his 18th birthday. The very last piece of the puzzle that was kind of hard to figure out for me was that I needed someone to stay in my home and watch my dogs for 3 weeks. That's a lot of time. And I couldn't financially see how I could afford to pay anyone to do that. I actually use this really cool service called Trusted House Sitters, and it's kind of like house swapping with pet sitting. So I was thinking maybe I could put something on there and find someone, but no one that was a good fit was actually applying. And we were getting down to the wire, and I just kept saying, nope, it's happening. Nope, it's happening. And believing that it would all come together and that everything would work out. Well, sure enough, out of the blue, out of nowhere, I had a friend who's also a past client reach out to me because she owed me some money, which I had totally forgotten about. And she sent me the money basically. And she actually said, I'm so frustrated because I'm having a difficult time right now with my family. And it's a situation she had shared with me in the past. And she said, because of everything that's going on with them, my son and I have nowhere to live for 2 weeks during the holidays. I instantly knew that she was the answer to this last piece of the puzzle and that it was even better because I got to also be an answer for her difficult situation. And so I just threw it out there like, hey, you want to come stay in my house with your son and watch my pets? And, there's things in there that could have been obstacles. She has 2 cats and 2 dogs. She doesn't live close to me. She had to travel far away, but she was willing and said yes. And I was willing to have her and her whole crew here and said yes. And it all came together and it worked out so beautifully. Well, as we got to the last piece of trying to plan airplane tickets, we travel standby, by the way, because I'm involved in the airline industry. So we can only go on flights if there's space for us, just to make it a little more complicated, right? Um, and so it was looking like Indonesia wasn't actually going to be the best choice because of the time of year, their weather and their surf wasn't great. So we sort of switched our whole plan from Indonesia over to the Philippines. And we kind of got everything lined up and figured out where we were going. And sure enough, this is the power. I really believe this is the power of speaking what you're creating and focusing on it. Because as we got right to the day that we were supposed to depart, which is December 26th, it turned out there was no space for us on any flight from the US to the Philippines. And we had to shift, and we shifted our entire trip over back to Indonesia, which is what I had been speaking the whole time. And we went there even despite it not being the right season and not being the best waves and all of that. Of course, we made the flight. We had an amazing trip. The feeling of my son being so excited as we surprised him with all of this. And when we were actually in Indonesia, the day we were heading to the surf location that he'd been dreaming of, which is called Karamas, to see the excitement in his face and the giddiness as we got there, that joy, it was just so fulfilling for me, not just as his mom, but as a person that is intentionally dreaming and creating a life that I love, to watch all of these things come together. And it's been such an amazing adventure. We just got back last week. We had so much fun in Bali, despite getting the Bali belly parasite and everyone getting sick on New Year's. Despite that, we still had a great time. We made great memories. And for me personally, it was just tangible evidence of what happens when you put this level of focus into creating a life that you love, into creating this dream life. So I just want you to know, like, it's so amazing what we can achieve when we dare to dream and we take action. And that's exactly what I love sharing and creating in my group called the Dreamcatcher Collective. It's what it's all about. Essentially, it's a 12-week journey where we're coming together to design and create the life that we've always dreamed of living. Now, you might be thinking, sure, Erin, that sounds great for you, but I'm not sure if that's for me. Let me tell you, if you're a mom who's achieved a measure of success, but you feel like something's missing, or if you've been putting your kids and their dreams first, and even maybe your spouse for too long, and you're ready to prioritize your own life and your own dreams, this is for you. In the Dreamcatcher Collective, we're going to focus on 5 key areas of life: your health and well being, your relationships, your vocation and purpose, your time and money freedom, and your spiritual connection with God. And we use a unique blend of faith and neuroscience and energy principles to create lasting change. It's like updating the software of your life. So here's what you could expect in this 12-week journey. We've got weekly group lessons and a digital workbook. We've got live group coaching calls where we dive into your dreams and your challenges. The beautiful supportive community of like-minded women that are cheering you on. And we've got these practical exercises to help you apply everything that you're learning to your real life. But I don't want you to just take my word for it. I want to share with you some feedback from one of my past participants. They said Dreamcatcher Collective was truly a life-changing experience for me. It's not just about setting goals. It's about awakening the dreams that have been sleeping inside you, waiting to be brought to life. This program goes beyond simple self improvement. It's a complete reframing of how you see yourself and the world around you. What I found most powerful was the focus on connecting through vibration, forgiveness, gratitude, and awareness. These elements helped me shift my perspective in ways I never thought possible. I learned to tune into a higher vibration, practice forgiveness both for myself and others, cultivate deep gratitude, and develop a keen awareness of my thoughts and actions. The transformation I experienced was so profound that I can't help but recommend Dreamcatcher Collective to everyone I know. It's the perfect program for anyone looking to dream bigger, think differently, and create positive change in their life. If you're ready to awaken your dreams and reframe your thinking, don't hesitate. Join Dreamcatcher Collective. It worked wonders for me, and I'm confident it can do the same for you. Listen, that kind of transformation that she was speaking about, that's possible for you when you join us. I know that some of you might be thinking, this sounds great, but I'm not sure I have the time. Or maybe you're worried about the investment, and I get it. I've been there too. But let me ask you this: how much longer are you willing to put your dreams on hold? And how much is that costing you in joy, in fulfillment, in missed opportunities, just to keep living a life that's good, but not great? That's actually a famous quote. I don't know if you've ever heard it. Good is the enemy of great. And it comes from Jim Collins. He's the author of the book, Good to Great. And the actual quote that Jim said, good is the enemy of great. And that is one of the key reasons why we have so little that becomes great. We don't have great schools, principally because we have good schools. We don't have great government, principally because we have good government. Few people attain great lives, in large part because it's just so easy to settle for a good life. And I just want to scream to you, like, don't settle. The truth is, that's what I want for you, not just good. I want for you to have great. And there's never going to be a perfect time to invest in yourself. Something's always going to manage to just sneak up on you. But I promise you, when you do decide to just go for it and invest in you, everything else in your life gets better too. Your relationships are going to improve. Your work is going to become more fulfilling. You start living with a sense of purpose and joy that ripples out to everyone around you. In fact, one of our participants actually took a family vacation during the time that we were together. And she said, she couldn't quite put her finger on it, but it was the best family vacation they'd ever had. And she sort of looked over at her husband and was like, is it the best family vacation we've ever had because it's just magical? Or is it because of me and my perspective has shifted? And he was actually able to reflect to her that awareness. It had everything to do with her perspective shifting. And that's really what happens in this program. You see the world through just a different lens. You're looking at it in a completely different way. So, if you're ready to do this, to catch your own dreams and create a life that you truly love, I want to invite you to join us in the next Dreamcatcher Collective. We're going to kick things off in February, and I couldn't be more excited to welcome you into this transformative experience. But it's very important that you are a good fit. So I want to invite you to apply to be a part of the group. All you need to do is go to bit.ly/dreamcatcher circle. That's bit.ly/dreamcatcher circle. We'll review your application and we'll get back to you with next steps. So remember, your dreams matter and you matter. And it's never too late to create a life you love. And how fun is it to do it in the year 2025? What a magical year. I just feel so good about what's lying ahead. So before we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. Every great achievement in your life started as a dream. Your education, your career, your family, they all began as a vision in your mind. And this is one of the very first things we teach inside the Dreamcatcher Collective is that everything is created twice, first in your mind and then in reality. So this is your opportunity to dream even bigger and to make those dreams a reality. So I don't want you to wait. Go and visit bit.ly/Dreamcatcher Circle today. I'll also have the link in the notes. And I want you to take that first step towards the life you've always imagined. Obviously, it's free to apply. And by applying, you're committing to nothing. You're really just taking that first step toward opening the door to living the life that you love. So we're kicking off in February. I cannot wait to welcome you into our circle, assuming that you're going to be a great fit. And until the next time, everybody, keep dreaming big. And remember that you have the power to create a life you absolutely love. I am signing off until our next episode. Take care, sweet friends.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you're feeling blessed by the content here, the number one way you can show me is by leaving me a written review of the show. I'd be forever grateful. Knowing that you're out there listening helps me know that I'm truly living out God's purpose in my life. The other thing you can do is take a screenshot of this episode, share it with a friend, or better yet, tag me on your Instagram stories. Remember, you are seen, known, and loved. May God richly bless you today. All my love, Erin Jean.